Okay, so we're going to take a look at Kelsseyk's first matchup of the day. She's playing twice, I believe. Against Sliphorn, this is a bit of a landmine, I think, this matchup, just because there's a lot of hidden danger on both teams. The Giratina looks fairly strong against Slip, has to worry about the Meloetta, could run Dragon Tail. The problem is if you run Dragon Tail, that improves Tapu Bulu's matchup against Origin greatly. The Excadrill looks quite good, but has a couple problems. One, Heracross, which resists Drill Run and Mud Shot, and two, the Tapu Bulu, which also resists the ground moves, could be problematic for the Excadrill. Rayquaza being a flying type doesn't have the worst matchup against Excadrill and can really pressure it with the Dragon Tail damage. Togekiss would look good, especially against the the bottom four picks on Sliphorn's order, if you will. Just looking at Melmetal and Heatran first. Togekiss looks good, but of course there are two steals. This is another double steel team, and those steals have great play against the Excadrill, against the Togekiss, against the Regice. Although Regice does win all even shields against Heatran, simply because a Flamethrower or a Stone Edge or an Iron Head is not going to KO Regice, and the Earthquake does. And Regice outpaces. The Milotic, I think, is highly problematic to bring here because of the Tapu Bulu. It's not even that good against. It's not that good against Melmetal and or Meloetta, and even Heatran doesn't have to fear the Surfs if it's running Dragon Tail fast. You can easily take a Surf and chip away at the at the Milotic with Stone Edges. The Scissor is kind of interesting for checking the Tapu Bulu and the Meloetta, but it's so bad against the steals that I don't think it's worth bringing. So I could see from Kelsey, Giratina probably coming every game. Excadrill, even though there's danger for it, and then maybe one of Togekiss or Regice. Sliphorn could run Dragon Double Steel. I think that makes a lot of sense. Or, a variation of that with like Tapu Bulu Double Steel. Curious to see how they play it out. Let's get into game one. Okay, so we're gonna see Giratina with with two answers to Rayquaza in the back. So this is a good lead. Decides to run Shadow Claw with Dragon Pulse for the Meloetta, which makes sense to me. This is a bit awkward. This is a little bit of an awkward switch in. But Giratina is definitely a really strong answer against Heatran. So it's could make sense to try and preserve this. Just gonna let all these go. Looks like they're running a standard moveset. I don't really think it makes too much sense to do like Flash Cannon and Superpower. It's just like a bit awkward. Gonna go for the farm down. Gonna shield this, which makes sense. Could have tried to catch, but they just Superpower. Okay, makes sense. Okay, so you're gonna be able to get off this Dragon Pulse. That Confusion through shouldn't KO. Oh, it does. Okay, that's a little bit unfortunate. Heatran's coming back out. Gonna throw this Drill Run, which Heatran has to shield, and then I think you take a lot less damage with Fire Spins on the Regice, so you're gonna come back out. Yep, and you don't have to shield this move. You can definitely let this go. Gonna shield anyway. If they shield this Earthquake, then they'll be able to get to another move, I do believe. So you're gonna take a move anyway, but it's totally fine. You can live anything that isn't Fire Blast like very easily. It's totally fine. Oh, doesn't get. Ooh, Regice does. I was so confident with that. It really doesn't get to it, and they're gonna take a move here. Could just be an Iron Head. Yeah, live that, but not enough health to do anything else after that. Oh, that's really unfortunate. I honestly, I'm surprised they couldn't get to that Earthquake. I really am. So I guess Kelsey and I are just as surprised they couldn't live. And that is a perfect ice block. So that was your best chance. That was your best chance to win that game. If you land the Earthquake, for sure, 100% game over. Kelsey wins. This is very close. We're going to see how she's able to adjust in game two now. I think it would have probably been better to switch out of that Melmetal at some point and try and have more health. And the other thing I'm thinking is maybe it would have been better to go like Regice into the Meloetta, like expecting you know the Heatran's probably going to come back out, get ahead on energy. So it's not the worst lead because you have Dragon Pulse, but going to switch right away. This is a little bit awkward for both sides. Obviously, the Melmetal's just going to keep throwing Rock Slides. Doesn't want to debuff. Even if it did, one Earthquake wouldn't KO at -1 defense anyway. So you don't have to shield those. Puts you pretty low. I believe you definitely live this Rock Slide. If they go for the Rock Slide. Don't have to shield this. Okay, decides to shield anyway. Gonna throw the Earthquake, force the Melmetal to shield or give up Switch, which they do shield. You could let this go, and then go for a big... I mean, you're gonna have to take 2 Rock Slides, though, with the Giratina. I definitely think that shielding that second Rock Slide was a mistake. I would have preferred she try and win zeros. Okay, gonna save the energy, which makes sense. Throws with good timing. Gonna come out with the drill run. Probably let this go. Come with another drill run. Lets this go. Ooh, Hyper Beam. Ouch. Okay, wasn't expecting the Hyper Beam. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. Not to have like Dazzling Gleam for the Giratina in case you need to like get a quick KO on that. Okay, so you don't need to shield this. This is not double nuke, right? Can let the Psyshock go. Decides to shield that. Okay, comes out with the Melmetal for a combo play. I don't know how good this is. I mean, it chips for sure, but like now you just give the Giratina farm. So what's in the back that could like take 2 Shadow Balls? Go in with the Meloetta to make a throw. I like that. Confusion's not going to land. Oh, this is not good. Yeah, so the Heatran's just going to Fire Spin down. Not enough health on the Giratina at this point in time. So not shielding the Hyper Beam. But, I mean, are you really going to shield from the Meloetta? It doesn't really make sense. Definitely, that wasn't the issue. The issue was definitely shielding the Regice before that. I think you just win the zeros, and you're in like great shape. Giratina can come and farm down. You'll have 2 shields for the Excadrill in the back. So I don't think this lineup is necessarily a problem for Kelsey. She just needs to adjust how she's playing it against Slip. Getting hit with the surprise Hyper Beam wasn't really, to me, what swung that matchup. It was earlier, parting with that shield too early. But she feels like she needs to change things up a little bit. I think Regice is a good lead against this team. It has a lot of play against everything, and can certainly put a lot of pressure. So it makes sense. It makes sense to lead it. Looks like she's a little uncertain with the selection, but you know, got to take your time. Already down 2 games, so you got to make this next one count, right? We can still come back and tie this up. This is a terrible lead. Got to stay. Have to stay. You're going to be able to get to this Blizzard just right after close combat, right? Which you live, so you could let that go. Now the Heracross is probably going to want to shield this, right? But I don't think you need to, because you've already sort of negated the threat that is the Regice. Okay, so Slip agrees, comes in with the Meloetta. Drill has a pretty good matchup here. Gotta be wary of the Hyper Beam though, now we know. Throws in the middle of the confusion, so there will be no catch. Could let this go. We're gonna shield the Psyshock. It was that was a pretty obvious Psyshock, but we're gonna shield it anyway because we're a little worried about getting confusion down, which is totally fine. Gonna throw this drill run. They're gonna shield. You can definitely let this go now. If you think you need the drill for later, though, I guess shielding this wouldn't be the worst. But I think there's gonna be a steal in the back. I do. I think the Meloetta was probably like meant as like a safe swap for like a Togekiss lead with that Heracross, and there's a hard counter to Togekiss in the back. You can definitely let this go. We know there's no Dazzling Gleam. Gonna be able to take this out with with a Dragon Pulse. They're going to switch out. I almost think it would have been better to make the Giratina throw at the Meloetta first before coming into this. That would have been quite awkward. Plus, you get more confusion damage off. What's going to happen now is she's going to overfarm Shadow Ball. You could even like undercharge, get more Shadow Claws off. You'd rather take the Rock Slide than like a bunch of confusion damage. Gonna catch the move though. There's a couple ways to win that, right? Like, could undercharge, could go for the farm down. You can easily live another Rock Slide and get to the Dragon Pulse and then take this out. Shadow Ball, single resisted, gonna be enough to take out the Meloetta at this point in time, and it's a good comeback from Kelsey. She's back in the set, down one game. It's 1-2, and with a chance to tie coming into game 4. I don't think I would adjust too much. I mean, I like those three. I like the Giratina, I like the Excadrill, I like the Regice. Has a lot of play against everything. Just need to, really think through what Slip's lineup is going to be once you see that initial lead. Decide what's important, what you should save for the end game, and try and be really precise with shield use. I think that's going to be what determines the win. On Slip's side, I still like theoretically double steal. With take your choice of leads. Could be the Tapu Bulu. It could be, well, if you go Tapu Bulu double steal, you're going to be weak to the Giratina because it is Shadow Claw. So maybe like the Meloetta or even the Rayquaza. Rayquaza is really good against the three that she's bringing. Actually, it takes no damage from the lock-ons or the mud shots, and its energy is pretty useful against everything. Excadrill's so squishy, it might as well not be a steel type. Outrage does a ton of damage. So I think Rayquaza with an energy lead against Kelsey is quite dangerous. I mean, she's very reluctant to bring the Togekiss at this point. So bad lead going into the Regice, and we've already seen this matchup. I really think she should just play for the zeros. Just let both Rock Slides go, get both Earthquakes off. This makes the most sense to me. So Slip's going to let that go. We already know how much that does. Just let this Rock Slide go. You can live it. Okay, so she learned from the previous game, knows she can live, get to this, win zeros. I think this is fantastic. Giratina is going to get peppered by a lot of Rock Slides, trying to farm this down, but I think that's okay. You can definitely take it all. So you're going to get a nice farm here. Just take 2 Rock Slides. It's fine. You can take it. This is your bulkiest mon. Goes for the back-to-back, no Shadow Claw through. It's a little annoying. You can definitely take another move. Could catch it on Excadrill if you really don't want to. Okay. Doesn't want the farm to occur. Switch hard swaps into Meloetta. Despite going down a shield to win switch, I kind of don't like that. This is a little awkward now. Good timing on the throw. I'm going to need 2 drill runs to take this out. The confusions are adding up, so it's like, how much more damage do you want to take? If it is a Heatran, though, the Fire Spins are going to kill you before you get to a move. Could shield this. I think it makes sense because otherwise you're going to have to throw a move from the Giratina, so you want to preserve that energy. Going to throw here. Meloetta can't swap out. Move comes in the confusion, takes it out. Going to go with the Heatran. First Shadow Ball coming out, saving the Excadrill. I think it still has enough health to avoid being Thundershock down, but they switch. You live this. You could actually just let this go. This is totally fine. Going to be able to farm down and get to another Shadow Ball. But could have let that move go. 2 Shadow Balls, enough to take out the Heatran. A really good comeback from Kelsey. Showed a lot of discipline, I think, in shield use in the last game. Learned from previous mistakes. And was able to tie it up 2-2 after a really rough start. So that was an impressive game. And let's take a look at the next set.